3, 2, 1. You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host Hunter here, Triple H. As it were, that just came to mind. Holy crap! It's all about the game, and I am not alone. I am joined by a special guest contributor. You can check him out on his own podcast, where he co-hosts On the Fly with KJ and OJ on SoundCloud. I was just on there for their big X-Men review extravaganza. All the X-Men films were reviewed, so you can check me out on several of those reviews. OJ, how you doing, sir?
I'm well. I'm intoxicated, but I'm well.
Are off life or?
Yes.
Okay.
Off life.
Does life have a code name called weed or something like that? Or?
That too.
That too.
Came from the earth.
Hey,
Earth gave me life, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's a gateway drug. Sorry, we're not gonna get into that.
No.
We won't go in that whole diatribe tonight. But
I'm just a little on the fly, as it were.
There you go. Which you can listen to on SoundCloud. But
which you can. Yes, you can.
But we're here to talk about OJ's favorite thing in the world, and we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about Shaft. OJ loves Shaft in general, but when I told him, hey, we should go see this movie, he's like, wait, what movie? And he was
oh, it's like that.
I know, I could help myself, but I will say for this movie, it has one of my favorite taglines of a movie in the last decade. More Shaft than you can handle. I remember I saw a tagline.
Words that have never left your lips.
Agree to disagree. Oh god, that's so absurd. But this movie. So as you guys have known, I talked about the movie on the other reviews. I'm a huge fan of the 2000 Shaft, kind of soft reboot that they did with John Singleton. Rest in peace, rest in power. Pardon me. John Singleton that he did, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Vanessa Williams, Busta Rhymes, Christian Bale. Great fucking movie. Really brought up, really pretty prominently the whole aspect of to paraphrase Shaft, too black for the badge, too blue for the brothers. I remember that's the line that he drops in there, and I went, damn, that's such a unfortunately still relevant line, almost 20 years later. I was really excited when this, I can't remember what movie me and OJ, I feel like we were seeing something stupid. I think it was Robin Hood, if memory serves. And they showed this trailer for this, and we were both like, oh shit, a new Shaft movie! Like, yeah! Because we just, I have to give OJ credit here, because he's black on the inside, because he went ahead and introduced me to Dolomite. I'd never watched Dolomite before.
Love me some Dolomite.
And hot damn, I love the Dolomite movies. Those are... That's some great shit. I love those movies. And I'm a huge fan of Undercover Brother, and a huge fan of Black Dynamite as well.
That's good shit.
Movie right and cartoon. The cartoon's really great too. So Samuel L. Jackson, he's always been one of my favorite actors. Just between this and Unbreakable and Glass alone, the man is just a badass. And then you think about Afro Samurai. And Samuel L. Jackson is what? Is he 70?
71, I think.
71, which I will say, man, he still looks great, man. Like, he really does. I was like, okay, like, this was the first movie. It's only in a couple shots, and please tell me you disagree. There are a couple shots where I went, he's starting to look a little older, like just a little bit.
I mean, age is creeping up on Samuel L.
It is, but damn, man. I mean, he's been in the game for so long, though, man. Like, since the early '90s. Actually before that even.
Dude, you remember his scene in Coming to America? That was his, that was his big break, if I remember right.
It was, yeah.
And, yeah, man, like, he's a scene stealer in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all in his delivery. That vintage Samuel L. that we get, for so many years starts right there, man. And in my opinion, he's very unapologetic about it, and I love that about him.
Yeah, I appreciate the man's got swagger on swagger on swagger. Like the brother's just so talented, and I really do feel like at points he does get typecast as a guy who just yells "motherfucker" all the time. Which
I mean, he did Star Wars, man. Didn't swear once.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the better parts of those prequels.
He is. He really is. His death scene, I thought, in Revenge of the Sith, I thought was so fucking well done. I was like, actually, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Actually, it's like, oh, go figure. And of course, Pulp Fiction. That's still one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can lean on Pulp Fiction for. And then actually, a movie I think as a sequel is very underrated. I love me some Die Hard 3. Love me some Die Hard 3.
Oh yeah, man, that's my personal favorite out of the Die Hards.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
He humor me. Just
Samuel L.
Really?
Yeah. He's the one that pushes it over, dude. Because him and Bruce Willis, that is really rare chemistry, in my opinion. Like, it works so fucking well, and their chemistry alone carries it. Jeremy Irons is, I think, a better antagonist than oh God, what's his name? Snape.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, thank you. In the first one, personally, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I love the whole Simon Says bit. Yeah, I just love fucking Die Hard with a Vengeance, man. It's fucking, yeah. That I saw that one in theaters. That was the first one I saw in theaters. And that actually will probably have a lot to do with it as well. But holy shit. I watched that with my dad, and Happy Father's Day, Dad. That was one of my favorite movie experiences, was Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. I will say, seeing Samuel L. Jackson again playing John Shaft, it's really cool just seeing him back in the role, because I think the 2000 Shaft is a very underrated film. I still actually, if I ever meet Christian Bale, that will actually probably be the movie I refer to first. I know most people go, Dark Knight or American Psycho. I remember seeing him in that and going, oh my god, Christian Bale's an asshole. Like, he almost played the role a little too well, to be completely honest. I was like, I bet he goes back and watches that. He's like, oh, if I could really hit Mekhi Phifer from the head that hard, I totally would. But Christian Bale is so fucking good in that, and which is why going into this, I will admit my expectations might have been higher than they should have been, because I don't think you can replicate that sort of magic, that sort of black magic, dare I say. But what I will say about this movie is that while I want to say IGN gave like a 4.1, and I've been reading a couple just really scathing reviews about this movie, is it perfect? No, absolutely not. In no universe is this perfect. Is this close to as good as 2001? Hell no. This is more in that, and OJ, you actually said off mic, and I think it's actually very apropos. It's more of like a Dolomite Shaft movie.
Yeah.
As you kind of put it. Like, kind of want to elaborate on what you mean by that?
So, I mean, like, the original Shaft, which is like the bar for me that I measure this against, like the original 1975, is a lot more serious than this. And Dolomite, the very first Dolomite, like, it was very ironically funny in a lot of ways. You know, it tries to be exceptionally clever in the writing, and in a lot of parts it does succeed. But Dolomite's a very exaggerated character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shaft in this one specifically is a much more, in my opinion, exaggerated character compared to the 2000 Shaft.
Yes, I would agree with that. There's more of like almost a blaxploitation element in his portrayal of Shaft this time around. I thought he was more of like a quippy, to an extent, a quippy kind of Malcolm X-esque Private Eyes, kind of how he came across in 2000 Shaft. This one, he's leaning a little more into the slapstick element of it.
Which, that is, I think, my biggest hang-up is a bit of the slapstick, in all honesty.
Yeah. And that's fair. And I think a lot of the movie is going to depend on how you feel about some of the slapstick that does occur in here. Another thing that's going to really determine how much you like this movie, I'll be honest, man, and if I'm gonna call out, movies for being sexist or movies, not using people of color, I'm gonna call this shit out too. This movie, there's this gay joke about this organization that they find out part of the, kind of the crime syndicate of Brothers on Brothers, and they make this joke about sound kind of like a gay club, which I'll be the first to admit. When I heard, I went, yeah, I could kind of see that. But the problem is they don't leave it alone there. Like, they really,
it's a running joke.
Pardon the phrasing, hammer that home, as it were, with the whole Brothers and Brothers, and that sounds gay. And then they have a gay brother working there too. I was like, okay, movie. Like, there was a point I went, all right, let's rein this back, because you're kind of beating this drum, a little too hard, to be completely honest. So.
It was kind of funny to see the one guy kind of like swooning after Samuel L.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, it was a little funny, like like.
But it almost felt like that was kind of the movie, kind of almost giving itself an out. Like, see, he's attracted to him. Like, what do you expect? Like, So I was kind of like, all right, movie. Like, let's roll it back a little bit. So, if I had a gay person tell me, like, hey, I was actually offended by some of the jokes in here, I couldn't even be mad. You'd be like, what, fair enough. Because, I mean, I'll admit, I laughed hard at a couple of the gay jokes, but there was that point where I was like, okay, like, let's move on to something else. Jessie T. Usher, in no way related to Usher Raymond, by the way, he plays JJ Shaft, or John Jr., I think is what they call him in the actual movie. But this brother, the last thing I saw him in was Independence Day Resurgence, playing, we couldn't get Will Smith back.
I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, don't see it. It's not, yeah.
That's kind of the feeling I was getting too.
Yeah, there's no reason to see that. This is way better than Resurgence, I'll tell you right now.
Fair enough.
Like, yeah, Jessie T. Usher, just kind of seeing him in this, I was like, oh no, not you. But I will say, I didn't hate him like I thought I'd hate him in this. I know it's kind of a backhanded compliment, but I was really expecting to just loathe this kid. And for what he is, I didn't mind him. Kind of your thoughts, sir?
I wish they would have scaled back some of his God, I don't know what to call it, man. His softness, I guess you could say. Compared to his dad.
You thought they made him overly soft?
I think so.
I agree. I agree with you on that. But I feel like they made him overly soft. And I brought this up on your guys' review of it. I think the fact that he was so soft that when he makes the turn, it's not as jarring as I thought it would be. But it is still, like, you get a little turbulence with it, as it were. I was kind of okay. Like, the only reason he really becomes cool is because he kind of basically forgets, like, 80% of his own personality and becomes more like Shaft,
No
what I mean?
shit, man.
So,
women only find him attractive when he's, like, drinking and, like, saying he's with Shaft, like, you know what I mean? Remember those really two hot chicks in the club?
Yeah,
They were all over his shit.
They were all over him.
Oh my god! But the moment he acts like a nice guy, no.
Which, my god, that's a shitty message if you're a dude just trying to do it right. And you're like, oh, cool. So if I just do it right and I don't talk shitty to women, then I won't get a girlfriend. Apparently, like it's a very kind of like, admittedly Neanderthal sort of message to it. And I think that's the movie's biggest problem for me, is that the movie is trying to be kind of like a woke version of Shaft, but it doesn't want to fully commit to being woke, so it kind of ends up in this weird sort of like almost rubber band aspect where like sometimes it's being, you might go like, oh wow, this is like a blaxploitation movie. It's kind of sexist, and there's some really not PC humor, but then it rubber bands back to the kid being like, you can't do that. It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want to lean more this way, or do you want to pull it back? So it's a little jarring from that aspect, kind of watching it.
Right.
Did you kind of feel that, or?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, really, it's freaking true, man. Like this, everything that, I think it was really fascinating that the direction they take for, like, the reason why he is the way he is all his mother. You know what I mean?
You know, I didn't even... That's a really good point.
Like, Shaft brings that up, like, half a dozen times.
At least.
You know, and... Oh, his mother. Oh, his mother. He's even talking to the chicks at the bar from the scene in the trailer. When the mother walks up, like, oh, that's his mother. She's a bit bitter, you know? Like, you know, like, he's talking about her still, you know? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's... He blames so much on her.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you kind of... I mean... How do I put this? I don't want to say it's justified. I don't want to say it's justified. But the fact that they try to pass it off almost like it's justified, with the whole aspect of why, like, she kicked him out of their lives when JJ was a baby, you know?
Yeah.
During that whole attack from, what was the guy's name again? The character's name, the bad dude.
Gordito. Yeah.
Gordito, yeah, when Gordito put the hit out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, shit was, I don't know. I dare say super convenient, but, like, it really does not paint women in the best picture.
No, I agree with you on that point. And I will say, Regina Hall, I always love seeing her. Of course, if you've, you know, she was in one of the barbershop movies. She was in, she's on Girls Trip, of course. She was in The Hate U Give. She was amazing in that fucking movie. Like, and
I still need to see that.
Yeah. The Hate U Give. That's a rough one for me to get through, but I love that movie. And she's on this Showtime show that came out, I want to say last year, Black Monday, which with Don Cheadle. That's actually really fucking awesome. So I always love seeing Regina Hall and stuff, and I wish they would have given her more to do in this, because she is kind of more reduced, kind of just playing more off Samuel L. Jackson, which I really do think they have great chemistry, which made me happy. I would have liked to seen her in it a little more. The woman doesn't age either. She's just a doll. I just fucking love her. There is this scene where she's out to dinner with this guy who's like seems like a cool dude, bit of a dweeb, but whatever. And Shaft just comes in and emasculates him in a way that I went, okay, even if you're a quote nice guy, quote unquote, at some point you'd go like, the fuck, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, dude.
And Shaft, dude, Shaft just owns this guy. I'm sitting there, and I will say, like, as someone who was raised primarily by his mom, because dad worked nights, I was a little offended by the way they portrayed little JJ. I was like, you know, just because the mom is raising you doesn't mean that you're just completely inept as a man. Like, that was kind of something. I was like, that's a really bad message to send single black moms.
Absolutely.
To be completely honest, and hearing you bring that up, that actually makes me go like, oh, that's something I didn't really consider.
The gifts that he would send his son were funny.
Yeah, so there's this whole opening. Oh, by the way, speaking of the opening. Oh man, I don't know if that was CG they used for like the early Shaft. Like,
oh right,
dude, ooh, that CG looked bad.
Right,
that CG looked really bad. It looked like Samuel L. Jackson looked like you were looking at him through like a pinwheel or something like that. I was like, oh, like it looked really weird, honestly. So, yeah, I know that the budget on this apparently was only $32 million, but damn, like be a little better, shit, you know. Yeah, like, that was quite terrible. But I will say, of the opening of the movie, you know, so basically the whole hit that we're talking about, that goes down. Regina Hall's character, Maya, basically goes, we're getting away from you, fuck you, you know. Yeah. And so Shaft is sending his son, sending little JJ gifts it seems like every year, it looks like.
They like Christmas.
Yeah, like he's getting something during Christmas. So he sent him. Oh God, I'm blanking on the first gift. I can't remember what the very first gift was.
Wasn't it condoms or something?
Yeah, I think it might have been condoms. But then he ended up sending him
Lawrence Taylor's ring.
Lawrence Taylor's ring, which I was like, wait, the hell? How did you get that?
Did him a favor.
Yeah, just a giant Super Bowl ring, which was really fucking funny. And then you get, he sends him a bunch of, like, black porn magazines.
Yeah, dude.
When he goes off to MIT, I was like, oh my god, okay. I was like, yeah, that was kind of funny. And I think their chemistry between JJ and John Shaft once the case does get going, because the whole case really hinges on Kareem, JJ's friend, getting killed. And I will admit, you said it on your guys your guys' review. The plot is very sloppy. Like, they kind of throw in this Islamic aspect that doesn't really need to be there. They could have just been like, he got killed as a cover up. The whole Islamic part was really rather unnecessary, to be completely honest. But this movie has one of the best punchlines I've heard all year so far. They're talking about, I want to say they're talking about the FBI being like profiling.
Oh yeah, man, that joke. Oh god, what the hell was it? Oh yeah, Shaft's his way of filing stuff in his office.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because it's all like laid out in files across like the entire office. And he goes to, what is it, the Puerto Ricans I don't trust file.
Yeah.
Oh, you're profiling them by race. Isn't that what the FBI does?
Yeah, which I will admit, I immediately, I was like, oh snap! Like, I couldn't even hold it in. I was like, damn. And, a little bit of truth to that, admittedly. I was like, oh, like, some people won't like that, but I laughed really hard at it. But, yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was really funny. Like, for, like, probably like 70% of the jokes hit for me. Like, not everyone does hit. There are some ones that you will groan and be like, okay, like, come on, movie. But more often than not, for like maybe every 5 jokes they made, about 4 hit for me. I was like, alright, this is like a decent, percentage. So it is a funny movie. I do like the humor more in a 2000 Shaft, because I think they were better. It was better written, and there's less humor. This one, like we said, is a little more slapsticky in that aspect.
Yeah.
One thing we gotta talk about, dude. It doesn't matter if she's playing Storm or if she's playing Sasha in this movie. Alexandra Shipp, she's just bad. She's just a bad actress, man. And,
I agree.
And seeing her in Dark Phoenix and then seeing her in this, I'm just like, god damn, like, you were just not good. Like, be better. And she's been in some stuff. She was in Straight Outta Compton. I remember seeing her in it. I don't recall loving her. Oh, she played Aaliyah in Aaliyah, the Princess of R&B, that shitty Lifetime movie about Aaliyah.
I never saw it.
Yeah, you're lucky. Oh god, that just makes me really sad. I did not think about that. Yeah, she's just not good. And the more I see her and stuff, the more I'm just like, how does she keep getting roles? It's kind of confusing to me, to be completely honest. Yeah. Her and JJ just have no chemistry. It also says a great message with her character, because she's not giving JJ the time of day. She's like, oh, you're such a good friend. Like, it's good to see you. And the moment he shoots a bullet, it's like panty dropper. Like,
dude,
seriously. Like, he's like biting her lip. Like, yeah, yeah, get it, brother. Yeah, like, all right. Like, let's, like, did you find that a little weird?
And he knows that that dance fighting style. That Tina knew in Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, and I'm totally blanking on it. Oh god, because Gyro teaches it to her, and I should know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, so yeah, that shit was just odd to me, man. The whole bit of it was, yeah, I don't know.
Capoeira, right?
Yeah, that's
Capoeira. Yeah.
So he knows that, and of course he's like this amazing shot. I just don't like guns. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love the fact that, okay, remember where he takes those 2 guns from the bad guys and throws them out the window?
Yeah.
And Shaft, his dad, is at one point like, give me those other 2 guns. What are the 2 guns? The guy from those guys. I threw those out the window. You threw them out the window? Kids can get those. I was like, that's a fair fucking point.
Yeah, no, I laughed really hard at that. Plus, you know, if those guns just go off and throw them outside.
Seriously.
Which also brings up a problem I had later on, because later on he gets into like a club shootout, and he's able to use guns, and he goes, I said I didn't like guns, I didn't say I couldn't use one. I'm like, well then why the fuck were you throwing those other two out the window? Like,
seriously.
Like, you should know better than to throw two loaded guns that are clearly still loaded just out the... I was like, alright, cool, whatever, I guess. I will say, though, for me, Samuel L. Jackson, man, he covers a lot of sins in this movie. He was so just fucking cool and badass because he's just a G.
And of course, so was Mr. Richard Roundtree.
Okay, so seeing Richard Roundtree in this, God bless that man. That man, the original Shaft himself, and he's aged well too. I do not know how old Richard Roundtree is.
He's got to be in his 80s, man.
Yeah,
he's got to be in his 80s.
Yeah, Richard Roundtree, he is 76.
No shit. Okay, well, hey, good for him.
Wow, and he's only 6 years up in Samuel.
Damn.
Like,
that's insane to
that's
me.
a trip. He looks... Okay, by that logic, he looks better than Samuel. If you really want to play... If you want to play like... Because we were talking about Danny Glover, and, like, all the respect in the world to Danny Glover. Do not misunderstand. But, wow. Danny Glover's 72, so he's 4 years younger.
Samuel L. Wait, how old is Samuel L?
70.
70. Okay, so he looks better than both those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. But Roundtree looks better than Danny Glover, though.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's 4 years up on him. He looks
way better than Danny Glover.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just, like... So that alone, and just seeing Richard Roundtree, man, like, you get some Richard Roundtree shooting a gun. I was like, oh, shit, okay. Like, he does this thing where he, like, flips a gun upside down and is shooting this guy. I was like, oh, shit, okay. I will say, too, Tim Story is the director of this movie. Now, if you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, I have brought up Tim Story. I'm not a fan of Tim Story, and I'm just going to go through very quickly some of the shitty movies that he's done. So, Fantastic Four, not great. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, still not great. Ride Along, really not great. Ride Along 2, somehow worse than the first one. Think Like a Man, it's alright. I don't love it like a lot of people do, but it's okay. Think Like a Man 2, absolute dog shit. Barbershop, pretty good. Taxi, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Jimmy Fallon, I still don't like Jimmy Fallon because of Taxi. I really fucking hate that movie. That was 2004. I still don't like him for that. He's done 3 Kevin Hart movies. The most overrated comedian working today. I stand by that. Like, I know some people want to give that kind of Amy Schumer. Nope, it's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is way more overrated than Amy Schumer. Yeah. And Amy Schumer hasn't cheated on her husband. Zing. But
that we know of.
Yeah, that true. That we know of. But
anything is possible.
Very true. And he also did this movie called First Sunday with Ice Cube and Cat Williams and Tracy Morgan, which was just really fucking terrible. If you haven't seen it, you're lucky. It's really quite bad. Tim Story's not a good director. This was surprisingly well directed. It's too strong. This was competently done. That's how I'd say it. Yeah, competently done. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible either. Kind of your thoughts on the directing style?
I think this works way better than it should.
Yeah.
And I think it's by complete accident. There are some parts that I was like, in terms of like special effects that were involved, where the bullets were hitting a wooden table and not leaving holes. They were just leaving black marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was like, oh, that's fucking terrible looking right there.
They're exploding bullets. Come on.
Oh, shit. Yeah, like, the impact of the wood makes them shatter.
Yeah, no, it's like those cop killers in Lethal Weapon 3. Or it's the same
Dear
thing.
God. But I mean, man, it works well. I mean, I would have liked to have seen somebody else make this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jordan Peele, where were you? Come on.
Seriously,
come on, brother.
Actually, I think he would have done way better.
Yeah, and he would have punched up the writing, which honestly, this could have used a punch up. This really could have used a punch up.
There's some real shit in here that I really wasn't expecting it to talk about.
Such as?
Remember when Samuel L. lists the whole, like, sexual identities
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are not going to like that. Like, because he starts naming off, like, oh, are you gender fluid? Or da, da, da. And I was kind of sitting in my seat, like giving it, like, the X. Like, all right, like, let's stop this joke now. Like, this is not, and like I said, I'm not one to get, squeamish on that stuff. I don't think anyone should, anyone is exempt from being made fun of. But the way they do it was I was like, all right, movie, that was really unnecessary way to do that. And they do harp on this kid. It almost feels like almost like a critique of millennials so much at points. I was like, okay, let's ease up on this a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like he's being punished for being, quote, woke, unquote. And you said off mic that in the end, this movie, the kind of the message is the old school way is the best school way, kind of. You know what I mean? Because his way, I mean, he does use technology to kind of, help them out in the end pretty vitally. But it is sort of a critique as well as far as on millennial culture, which again I did find a little preachy. Just kind of in closing as we wrap up here. This does work better than it should. My critiques aside, I did enjoy this. I had fun with it. I laughed. I laughed hard at points. Seeing Samuel L. Jackson be John Shaft again is just such a cool thing. But I'll be honest, it's made me want to rewatch the 2000 Shaft because it is a better film. I will buy this at some point, to be completely honest. It'll probably be on Black Friday when it's on sale, for like $10. It's like, oh yeah, this came out, back in August or whenever. Like, yeah, I'll buy it, And I mean, I laughed. I laughed hard at a couple parts. Like, I gotta give it that. I laughed harder in this than I did in Men in Black International. So I mean, that's something, I guess. But yeah,
we should get a 3-pack: the original Shaft, 2000 Shaft, and this.
That would be cool.
And then you'd have 3 movies, all different, named Shaft.
Boom.
And
I will say too, there's a scene at the end where they all 3 generations of Shaft are walking out in those red coats. Oh, that's a pretty badass way to end it. I do like that. The movie does not end with the traditional Shaft themes. It ends with a remix version of it, which I did not like. They should have just ended with the original Isaac Hayes, untouched, uninterrupted. So I didn't love that. But overall, though, man, I think there's more to like here than a lot of people will say. Like I said, if some of the jokes offend you, I will not fight you on that. I totally understand. Just for me, I did find enjoyment with it. So, yeah, I enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to. I'm going to give this... this is kind of hard. I'm going to give this a C+. Because I think if you rent this at home, or you caught it on, Cinemax, which, trust me, it'll be on there sooner than not, or on Netflix.
Right.
You can watch it on Netflix or something and be like, you know what, that was fun. I'm happy I didn't go out to the theater and, brave traffic to see this. But, but I don't think you'll think it's a waste of your time. You'll probably go like, all right, that was fine for what it was. So, yeah, and it is kind of a thrill to see Samuel L. Jackson back in the character, playing the character again. So, yeah, C+ for me. OJ, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
Fun to watch. I think I will also own it. I would love to actually own just those 3 Shaft movies, personally. I'm kind of good on the rest of them. But, really, though, it's fun. It's offensive. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not for everybody, but for those who this is for, you're gonna have a good time. I am going to give it a C+ also.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to have seen a script cleanup.
Yeah.
I really would have.
Yeah, I really think just a good punch-up writer could have made this like a solid B+, personally. Like, I think you could have gotten hot closer to 2000 Shaft. And I will say, too, a reason that I can't get over to like a early matinee, like a B- is because Race in the black community, it is brought up in the 2000 Shaft. It's really not touched on here, and I kind of was like, well, for a Shaft movie, that's kind of a thing, and you kind of need to address that. So the fact they didn't, I was like, I don't really love that. So yeah, so I did ding it for that as well. But yeah, there. I mean, like I said, I saw it here of OJ, KJ, and Alea, and I mean, Alea really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, I really had fun with this, and I was like, okay, fair enough. So, yeah, guys, this only made like $8 million this weekend, so
that's heartbreaker.
Yeah, so unless this gets some life on DVD, because Toy Story comes out this weekend, that will crush everything, for this foreseeable future. So, yeah, unless Shaft makes some money back on DVD, it's going to be a financial loss, which is a shame, I think, because I will say I would have preferred a straight up sequel to 2000 Shaft, no JJ involved.
Same.
Like, I really like the trajectory they're going on,
I would have liked this to be a blow-off movie.
Yeah.
Have, like, 2 sequels ahead of this.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Because I was actually surprised we never got a direct sequel quickly to 2000 Shaft. Because it actually made money. And actually was critically really well received. So I was kind of surprised we never... I know Samuel Jackson's been busy, since 2000, but I was a little surprised we didn't get a direct sequel to that earlier. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. OJ, you've got a lot of stuff going on, sir. Can you please tell people where they can find you?
You can find me at I'm sorry. Let me get these words back out.
There you go.
You can find me at a couple of different places. Collectively, with me and my podcast partner KJ, you can find us collectively at KJ and OJ on Twitter. You can find our show On The Fly at soundcloud.com/onthefly-KJOJ. You can find me personally on Twitter at the O to the J. That is capital T H E, capital O, the number 2 THE, capital J. And you can also find me on Twitch streaming from time to time at twitch.tv/O to the J, and that's the number 2 in there, O2 THEJ.
Perfect. And guys, you can go ahead and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and SoundCloud. There we go. At The Real Pineapple. Go ahead and check out our sponsor on Instagram. That is Stad Guy Studio. That's STADTGEIST Studio. At stadguys.studio on Instagram, and use the code REALP, that's REELP 2019 for 10% off your custom jewelry order. You are welcome. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We have a review up this weekend for Toy Story. I was about to say Toy Story 3, but they're on the 4th one. Never mind, because Disney. And we'll have a review up as well for... I'm starting to review the Spider-Man movies this weekend. So we have a review up for the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man film this weekend, as we are about 3 weeks away from Far From Home, which I am stoked that is coming out. And yes, giddy. It's going to be so much fun. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.